It's good with y'all, man.
Late night.
If y'all got insomnia in this motherfucker, join us, man, because we're going to come up in here and be talking that shit today.
Get up in here, y'all. Show some love, you know what I'm saying? Again, we told y'all yesterday we was going to come. We was going to do our first ever not Corona titled video, which is absolutely correct. But as always, we got to talk a little bit about the Corona at some point. But
This nigga's good.
That's not going to be the main subject, as always. So I got to tell y'all happy Corona Day, because technically we still are in Corona spirits, Corona holiday spirits, and happy quarantine vacation. Make the best of the worst situation.
Bad. All right. Well, while I got y'all attention early, I want to go back. If y'all was anybody who's going to watch this that watch our videos on a consistent basis would have heard me say that the UFC is fine. And they're doing this so they can capitalize on sales because nobody has nothing to watch. Well, I say this. After watching this last card and seeing this card that's being put on tomorrow, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, how you feel about this card that's coming on tomorrow?
It's weak compared to the one I say this. We're going to get in the 249 recap. All I'm going to say is it was hype. Overhyped to how good it was. I'll say that. It could have been better. We're gonna get all the details. But for that fight card, for it to not to be as great as I thought it could have been or should have been, this next card, he might as well just not have it.
Why would you feel like that?
I'm just like, if we didn't give the people what we wanted, man, I wouldn't probably tune in and watch that.
What do you mean by that?
Like the card, the fights, the matchups, I didn't even know that was even a fight. I didn't even see no promotion on it. So for him to just be like, here. Now if it's free, then I'm like, okay, that makes sense then. But if you got to pay for that, that's crazy.
Well, it's going to be on the ESPN app, correct?
I assume. I just don't know if you got to pay for that.
The ESPN app, yeah, you do got to pay. It's a monthly subscription. It was on free TV, and I'm probably on ESPN now, so it's not going to be on free TV. I don't think so. It might be, but usually it's on ESPN Plus, so it's probably going to we got to get that. But let's talk about it. Let's get into it. Let's do a recap, man. Let's do a recap. UFC 249. Brian Spann defeated Alvey via split decision. In my opinion, that was a subpar fight. I didn't enjoy it very much, but who enjoys opening fight? That's how you feel about it. If it was a 1 out of 10, everyone we're gonna give a rating 1 out of 10. What would you give?
3.
I give it a 2. Bryce Mitchell defeats Charles Rosa via unanimous decision. 30-25, 30-25, 30-24. How'd you feel about that?
3.
A 3? Yeah, the fight. If you're a Bryce Mitchell fan, you know what I'm saying.
If you're a Bryce Mitchell fan, it probably was an 8, 9. But if you're just,
I don't know about that. I'm a Bryce Mitchell fan, so I'll give it a 4.
All right, 4. I got it at 3. I thought it was
dominating.
Yeah, that's why I gave it a 3. I'm like, it wasn't something I was like, yo, that dude got a chance. Like,
then you got Carla Esparza defeating Michelle Washington via split decision. How y'all feel about that?
Carla won when I was watching it.
Carla won, definitely. I agree with that.
She won. I didn't see nothing wrong with that. Now, I'm not saying the fight was great. Oh, we rating them, huh? Oh, yeah, it was a 3.
You give it a 3?
I watched some of it. I ain't saying I ain't watched none.
So. Yeah, if I was going to grade that one, I thought Carla Esparza did exactly what I thought she would do. But it wasn't very enjoyable. And I actually called it before. I said it was either going to be something boring where, Esparza was going to be wrestling there, kind of keeping her on the ground, or Michelle Washington kind of become playing point karate fight type shit. That's what came out to be. Yeah, I give it a 1.5. It was very boring. I didn't enjoy it at all. You got Alexander Olenek defeated Mauricio Verdum via split decision 29-28, 28-29, 29-28. How'd you feel about that one, Young Zin?
2.
2. Why'd you give it a 2?
That shit was so boring. It was just old
motherfucking spiders,
They was just chasing each other.
I'm surprised you gave it a 2. That shit was a 1.
I just gave it a 2 because it was some points I was like, okay, maybe, but
I was not entertained by that fight in any type of way. It was. I don't want to see Verdum or Olenek versus anybody other than another old motherfucker. if they are going to be back.
Because they wasn't looking like they deserved nobody fresh.
So far, obviously, underwhelmed we were for the card, even though if you look, a lot of people were pleased, a lot of people enjoyed it, a lot of people were happy to have something to watch. I think it comes down a little bit more to that. And that kind of comes back, you can even roll this all the way around to the coronavirus, and how Trump feels about the coronavirus, goddammit. He said people are feeling. So even if the shit ain't shit, they still gonna want to do the shit, if that makes sense. All right, so we got Anthony Pettis defeating Donald Cerrone via unanimous decision, 29-28, 29-28, 29-28. How'd you feel about that one?
2.
Yeah, that fight was bad, man. It's crazy. We're in an era right now. Anthony Pettis, Donald Cerrone, legends, man. I remember when
that was so most feared. Niggas was like, "Oh, Pettis fight! Oh, he gonna knock somebody out."
I remember when Cowboy used to fight. That nigga was so cold to me. He used to be a dog. He still is. I'm not being disrespectful any type of way.
Oh man, he gets tired so quick, man. He got no tank no more, man.
Yeah, that was a terrible fight. I honestly thought it could go. It could have went to either person. The way that fight went, I would. If Donald won, I wouldn't have gave a fuck. Anthony won. I ain't give a fuck. I was like, there was really no win in my opinion. What do you give that rating at? You said 2? A 2. I'm gonna give that one a 3.5. Just to be respectful to the legends. Okay. You got Greg Hardy defeating Yorgan De Castro via unanimous decision 30-27, 30-27, 30-27. How'd you feel about that one, Michael?
What was a 4?
What's your highest rating? My 4.
It was a more entertaining fight.
Okay.
Just to see, it just was. It could have been a 7 if Castro threw. That'd have been more interesting. But he really was just being poised and dodging. But it's like he wasn't throwing enough to kind of like counterproduct that.
That shows you that Greg Hardy does bring some type of wow factor. Because to be honest, if you really look at it, if it wasn't Greg Hardy in the ring, that'd have been a real boring fight. Because it was Greg Hardy, in my opinion, I actually enjoyed it. I agree with him. De Castro, if he would have fought a lot more aggressive, would have been a lot more of a firefight. But I think he fought smart. He didn't take a KO because I think if he would have been a little bit more aggressive, he would have got caught with something. He had to play to his strength and try to kind of survive to get out of there. I actually gave that fight a 6. I enjoyed that fight. I watched the whole thing. I enjoyed it.
Well, you just said why?
Yeah. I actually missed the fight that I didn't talk about in the prelims that I actually just didn't get scores from both of us. Vicente Luque defeats Nico Price via TKO.
Well, that was like a 7.
A 7.
I like that fight. That was a good fight.
Yeah, I got to just because of the damage that happened, I got to give it a 9. So respect to the Warriors. So that was definitely that was. I
agree.
Fight.
I'll give it a 9. That was a good fight. I enjoyed it. Watching.
That was crazy. Especially the time it came. That's the only reason why. That's a solid prelims. If we still had Uriah Hall versus Jacare,
that would have been a great prelim.
That would have been great because I'm like, Ryan Spann wasn't that great. Bryce Smith wasn't that great. But that great fight from Vicente Luque versus Nico Price, and then having Uriah Hall and Jacare too, it would have kind of like bailed out the Esperanza, Watterson, and Olenek Verdun fight. Because Pettis and Donald Cerrone, because that's what fucked it up, to my opinion. Esperanza versus Watterson, Olenek versus Verdun, and Pettis versus Cerrone were all trash. There's just 3 trash fights. Had me real, Then Greg Hardy kind of got me back into it, but it wasn't what I wanted to see. What did I get that one, a 6?
You said 7. Oh, yeah, 6.
A 6. I'm gonna get that one a 4 then.
So you go back to me? I told you, bro.
In the time, like what I wanted to see, I didn't get it because of those 3 trash fights, in my opinion. So yeah, I gotta give it a 4, man. A little bias right there. Okay, Calvin Qatar versus Jeremy Stephens via Silver TKO strikes.
Maybe 8.
You got? Come on, give me one. Come on.
It was entertaining because Stephens he
give me a solid number though.
All right, I'll stick with the 7. It was a 7. Well, why it stays a 7 and not an 8, just because I feel like I didn't see enough from Stephens. I feel like Stephens gassed after the first, and he was just kind of just going through the motions in the second. You could think he wasn't gassed. He was gassed. You don't get gassed and get caught with an elbow that blatant. Dude was like this. Like, it wasn't like he went like this. He went for.
It was a good counter. If you would have seen, it wasn't. He set it up because when he put his left hand out, it was kind of like a bait. It's kind of the same way like if you do a lazy jab and you expect someone to throw a right and you do the pull counter. He did that same thing with an elbow. So Stephens expected a straight because in his mind he was like, I'm too close for him to land a solid right hand that could hurt me. So even it says, Qatar said in his interview with Earl Hawani on Earl Hawani's show, he got a broken nose from that because when he landed the elbow, Jeremy landed his right hand. Because Jeremy's intentions was, he's throwing a lazy jab. I'm gonna land that right hand over the top, and he did land it. But Qatar was so goddamn brilliant. Instead of doing a short right or trying to throw a short right hand or a short right hook back, he threw a goddamn elbow.
Fuck that man.
That was brilliant. That was strategically placed. Like that was beautiful the way he was able to set that up. I was like, and he's such a, and it doesn't surprise me because that's how he fights. He's so precise with it. I love the way he fights.
You were saying it though. You was like, man, that precise punching right there.
It always beats power. That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. I was happy he ended up coming through.
He really fucked him up with that. Oh,
that's why I give it a 9. God damn it!
Oh, you gave it a 9. I gave it a 7.
That was beautiful. Calvin Qatar. I love watching him work. He's one of my favorite fighters. One of my new favorite fighters. I watch him work because he's so goddamn precise. He doesn't do nothing special.
Don't claim as your favorite fighter yet.
I said one of my new.
Don't do that yet. Because when you be doing that sometimes, like Badu Jack, I bet he was like, that's my new favorite fighter, dude, man. I know he's been winning, but he ain't been winning though. That makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like he won that last fight, but he lost. So it's like he losing. That's what I'm saying.
No, he lost his last fight, didn't he?
But he won though. You get my point.
That nigga Pascal hasn't stepped in the ring since, man.
He ain't.
It seems like it's been a while. I'm like, this Corona shit crazy. Now this one, man, I have to go ahead and take my L on this one because I was wrong. Francis Ngannou defeated Rozenstruik via first round KO. By the way, Rozenstruik was such a goddamn warrior. He took a picture with Francis Ngannou after the fight. So that tells you a little bit why I actually believed him a little bit because that motherfucker's a monster himself. He can fuck. What do you rate that? How you feel about it?
You gotta give it a 10 because how that
a 10?
Yeah, it was the best fight of the night if you want to keep it technical. Like how he really just went in there and he said.
Nah, Calvin Qatar was the best fight in my opinion.
Well, okay.
That was a fight tonight.
I got it a 10 though. Cause
I got that one as a 6. I got it as a 6. Y'all hear DC saying he'll fight Francis Ngannou. Stipe ain't ready. We gonna talk about that.
DC don't want to fight that man.
That's what he says. We don't get into that. Let's finish this UFC 249 recap. We got 2 more fights. Henry Cejudo defeats Dominic Cruz via second round TKO to retain
2
bantamweight title. What do you rate that?
2.
A 2. Actually, he said it quick. A 2. Why do you feel like it's 3?
Well, that shit was just nonsense from the rip.
Oh Lord! And it was crazy.
I called it though. I called it from all. I told all y'all.
You called what happened, but did I not call something weirdly happening right before it happened because we was talking about it?
I remember you was like,
he was getting his groove. And then they stopped it because
who knows? It would have been different about an eye poke or something.
No. If Cruz initiated the headbutt, it would have been on Cruz. But remember, Cejudo did like a deep slip.
Yeah, he came in like
right on Cruz's head, and he got cut. And the ref, I said, "What?" I'm like, "You can't do that, especially with how much time was left. There's only like 23 seconds left." But I was like, "You gotta let that play out."
But you heard what Cruz said.
It was bullshit.
Booze and cigarettes.
I was like, that was so weird to me. I've never seen that.
Think about this, and I'm not trying to get nobody.
Think about how bad Tyson Fury's cut was until they finally was like, hold on, we gotta take a look at it.
Hold on.
Off of an initial head cut, and he starts bleeding. You gonna stop it right? That's crazy to me,
I want to make a point to the lick the booze and the cigarettes because I'm like, bro. I'm not trying to get on nobody that. But if you ever went to work lit,
and Cejudo, it was Cejudo's fault.
I know.
We saw the replay. Cejudo ducked.
I know. Your point is valid, but I want to let these people know why the referee doing that was a big part of why I gave it a 2. You asked me why I was giving it 2. I was trying to tell you. I gave it a 2 because if the ref, this is allegedly, we don't know. This is what Cruz said, and unless somebody else confirmed or it's confirmed, booze and cigarettes.
Allegedly.
If you ever went to work lit or, you had a long night and, it carried over to the morning, you might do certain things that you wouldn't do if you weren't in that state. Hence, say if you take a phone call or you at the front desk and somebody asks you a question and you don't even really know, but you panic, you like, it should be fine. And then somebody come and be like, why is somebody da-da-da-da? Oh, I told them da-da-da-da. Oh, and then they blow up on you. You get what I'm saying?
If you watch when they do the announcement who wins and the ref puts Cejudo's hands up, the camera pans over to Cruz His nigga Cruz look at the ref. He's like, "Fuck you," and the ref's like, "What?" He's like, "Fuck you," and he just pulls his hand.
I didn't notice that though. I didn't see the fuck you. I just saw him do that there.
It's funny.
Yeah, fuck
nigga
you.
Cruz is crazy.
I feel him though because, bro, I'm telling you, that story I told you is true.
Funny.
That story I told you is true. If you ever go to work, unless you're a functioning alcoholic or whatever. But you get my point.
Nah, you're right. But I'm just like, that's not. But I'm like, for a nigga who trained, like that's not. It's kind of crazy if you really think about it.
That's what I'm saying.
Why wasn't Herb Dean there?
Why did Dana let
fight.
him do a championship fight? I've
That's
never seen that rep in my
Not
life.
for a championship
I've
fight.
never seen him.
I've seen that rep, but not for a championship fight. It's usually Herb Dean or it's
The dude with
the British dude or the dude with the
big
beard. I'm like, I've never seen him for a championship fight. And what was crazy, and my argument too, is like he did rock him because what's fucked up is someone who utilizes range and they get into a rhythm. When you're in it, it means so much. So when you get taken out of it,
Takes you
it's
a
like
minute to
so
get-
who don't know exactly what to do.
Dude.
It's a lot more dangerous, and that's why there's a lot more breaks. But it's a lot more dangerous in MMA when it comes to guys who do like that. So who don't know what to do, and right away, Dominic's instinct was I'm gonna go and lean for a takedown, and so who don't went and that knee landed. Now, the reason why I protest against this stoppage because Cruz was obviously in great shape. Because if you do watch it, he was taking a lot of unanswered shots. But the reason there was 3 seconds left, and right when the ref stopped it, if you watched, he was actually working his way up. And because of that, I'm like, you have to give him another round.
But I'm like, 3 seconds left, you gotta let him just survive.
But see, that's the same argument TJ has. And I actually agree with TJ. If you watch that fight too, you know, it was the same. I'm like, they let Cody have those seconds, and Cody went to the next round. Now it didn't help. But I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm like, if it's a championship fight, you do expect that. But, you know, I think a rematch between Cruz and Cejudo will go a lot different.
It was
Just
5
because,
rounds though. Like I said. But it was
I think
different this time.
I think Cruz
will
really,
win.
I think Cruz believes in ring rust now, though. You can't go straight to a championship fight. Like Cruz was able to say he didn't believe in ring rust because he went against someone who was not as talented as and beat him. Got that checking off, and then he fought TJ for the belt and won. This was his comeback fight for the belt. But he looked good, but you were able to tell, like in the beginning of the round, you could tell something was off. But when he started getting his rhythm, I was able to see it. He wasn't getting touched, and he was throwing it back. I was like, he had his rhythm on point. And then that headbutt happened because that's why the headbutt happened because Cejudo was out of position, which is why he got the cut. And then, you know, but make all the excuses in the world. That's what happened. You said you gave it a 2. Me personally, me watching it, I'll give it a 4. Just because it was entertaining for the 2 rounds. I think if it would have went 5 or at least 4, it would have been a great fight no matter who won. That's my only thing. That's I think what bugs me the most is the ref didn't even allow Cruz to have a chance to win the fight or even to be in it. I'm like, man, this is his first fight back. It's for the title. Like, let him go out. And the thing that makes me mad is Cruz said himself. He said, I told the ref specifically, let me go out. Let me get knocked out. Like, don't stop the fight on no bullshit. Like, stop the fight when I'm out. Like, please, I'm asking you that. And he didn't do that.
Because he was off them booze and cigarettes. He was like,
for you to ask that before and be like, yo, like, I want to be like, because I understand it because he, in his mind, he's thinking, it's going to take me at least 3 rounds to really get used to this shit. I ain't done this in so goddamn long. So I'm like, if some bullshit happens in the second round, I'm like, come on, man, you got to let me work through it because I ain't been in this situation in so long.
That shit was all weird.
Like, bro, I think about Cruz, like, yeah, I had my injuries, but I ain't took no damage in 4 years. Like, a couple of unanswered shots ain't gonna hurt me, my nigga. Like, let me fight. Think about that, for real.
I'm just mad because it was so, like, it was like 2 seconds left, bro. Like, what?
That nigga Rosenstruck died on the cage, and Ngannou landed at least 4 or 5 more shots, nigga.
That's a hard man to kind of cut into.
Cut
in front of my nigga. Oh my God, that rip probably was like, how am I gonna get
And Rosenstruck didn't move. Like, as soon as he got the first one, he was out. You know when a nigga's out.
Yeah, his whole body just.
Them little pepper shots was like this.
Yeah, but it didn't look like he was gonna get up, but it just seemed like he was trying to move to see like how am I gonna do it?
Because you have to have a leverage when you come. You can't just get right back up because you can end up getting an MVP. You can just get knocked out. So you have to be smart. You have to get close to the leg. You have to grab the leg, make sure your butt's against the fence. And while you're going up, you have to keep your face close against the body. Like you can't just be like, oh, I'm coming up. Because then we'll just throw and you just get your chin fucked up. You have to protect your chin while you're going up. When you protect your chin, you keep your face close to the body. It's gonna be hard to hit someone. You only do like pepper shots when you're. That's why you always grab for the leg. You grab for the leg and you go in that turtle shell position. Your head's close. It's because you can only do pepper shots. And I'm like, if you're not Ngannou, if you're not nigga with a lot of weight, you can get through those pepper shots. Like these are less weight people. Like Ngannou doing pepper shots, like, bow, nigga, you die. I'm like, so who they doing pepper shots? You just watch the footage over. Cruz was making his way up when he caught that fight. It's not even a lot, but we was on that a little bit too long. Let's move on to the next one. Justin Gaethje defeats Tony Ferguson via 5th round TKO. Wow, that was a 4th round. 5th round TKO to win interim lightweight title. How do you feel about that one, and what do you give it?
Gave it a 7. I mean, I feel like it could have been probably the best fight of the night if it had a crowd. But it was like a 7. I just gave it a 7 because I'm like, I give Tony credit. Like, motherfucker had his chin, man. Motherfucker 5 straight rounds. Straight just battered, my nigga. I'm like, God damn. Shout out to Casey, though, man. He had a plan, he had a game plan, stuck to it. He saw what he was doing, he adjusted, never looked back. Ferguson, I don't know, like you said, man, he's a person that with crowd, man, he adapts to, the energy in the building. Since he had his own, he was only energizing himself or something that, you feel me, he would have to get off of Gaethje. Wasn't enough for him, man. He older too, so I'm like, he need that, like, fuck it, dog. When crowd just going crazy and shit, you just like, fuck it. But if it's just you just like, shit. But he a warrior though, so salute to him for taking that much damage, man. Man in the hospital right now.
Yeah, you see that video that he dancing and shit. My thing, man, is it's crazy. You're gonna have some of the most craziest warriors, nigga, who go all out, fight in front of the empty arena, but they can't. Like, there's gonna be an adrenaline, but it's not gonna be the same type of adrenaline, though. So you got dudes who feed off of their adrenaline, fighting when there's really no adrenaline that can really circulate. It's crazy to me. So that's my only problem. Like, we saw a very calculated fight, but in my opinion, I think there was a lot more fans. I think Tony Ferguson, like, if there was more fans, I would have picked Tony to win because I don't believe Justin would have been as calculated as he was. I think he would have gotten to more of a firefight. He didn't get into much of a firefight with Ferguson. He was picking his shots, using his power.
But he felt like he had time. When you got that adrenaline, you got the fans.
He's not gonna go, especially if the crowd starts going crazy when y'all do maybe get into an exchange of blows. And like, oh, he's gonna like, oh, like that nigga, and then they start talking to you. Nigga, I like, you know what I'm saying? Egos is gonna come into play, and you're not gonna be able to stop it. This is gonna happen. So,
facts.
It's part of the game. But me personally, I gave the fight. I give it a 5 because, in my opinion, I understand why. You know what I'm saying? Connor's feeling the way feeling. Fight Justin. You know what I'm saying? Connor's a lot more technical than he is.
Connor will win in my opinion,
and he has a reach. I think Connor will win that fight against Justin Gaethje, but it would be a great fight to watch. I think that would be the fight to make.
They're gonna try to make the Khabib one though.
And still make Tony versus Khabib, in my opinion. Justin versus Khabib, that's, in my opinion, I think Khabib wins that pretty easy.
But Justin gonna feel away if you don't get that Khabib because he just won.
But he's gonna get more money if he fights Conor because I'm like, he still has an interim title, so it's technically, you know what I'm saying. Anybody, there's 2 titles in the 155 division. You know what I'm saying? So he's still getting paid like he's a champion.
It'd be interesting, man.
But overall, on the whole card out of 10, what would you give it?
A 6. Nah. 5. Right in the middle. It was a 5 for me.
Yeah, if I was just no card, I would have to give it a 5.5. 5.5. There's about 3 really good fights that I enjoyed. Other than that, and a lot of fights I thought had a lot of potential too, but it just didn't come out the way it happened. But it passed to Saturday, you know what I'm saying, and gave us some content. So shout out to UFC 249. Real quick, I did want to touch on DC saying that he's willing to fight Ngannou. He said Ngannou's the guy who will fight. He said to me he's just a bigger Anthony Johnson. By the way, if y'all check Anthony Johnson's social medias, Anthony Johnson is planning on a comeback. He said he's planning on coming back in the summer. He said what weight he's going to be at. You guys take a guess. So you can, there's that as a possibility as well. But do you believe DC saying if Stipe's not Stipe saying, hey, like, because Stipe's whole thing is he said, hey, I need a full training camp. I need my gym back open. So I'm a firefighter. At the end of the day, I take this shit serious. So if I can't have a full gym, full training camp, I don't really want to do this. So Dana's saying, we're not waiting for you, man. The guy versus Rosenstruck, that was for the #1 contender. So if we have to, Ngannou's next in line. DC saying, I'll fight Ngannou. I have no problem with that if Stipe doesn't want to fight. I'd rather fight Stipe, but hey, Ngannou's there. Let's do it. Stipe said, hey, DC, we're fighting. We're getting the gym preparations ready right now. It's going to happen. What do you think? What do you think is going to happen? We're going to see in
I mean, if that's the case, and Stipe said he want a firefight, didn't I tell you I saw him in that little commercial? Anyway, if you going to firefight, which I believe him, I'm like, shit, he the best heavyweight of all time. Like, what else he got to prove? He beat you, DC. That's how he's going to go out. You just being beat to pulp. I mean, it's no disrespect to DC. I'm just saying, like, that footage wasn't great, you know? But I'm like, that's great for Stipe if he wants to just be like, I'm going to retire off that.
If DC's going to fight Ngannou, he might end up having one of his worst knockouts in his whole career.
I don't want that to happen, bro, because for him to even just say that he's a bigger Anthony Johnson is disrespectful to Ngannou, because that goes to what we always talk about, that weight. It's like Ngannou it's always been heavier than Johnson. I'm not saying Rumble can't put on weight to get that heavy.
I think it's also disrespectful to Rumble in the sense of, and I think it's disrespectful to DC and himself to think of, like, man, in my opinion, when it comes to the sport, that you were in your prime. You're not in your prime no more, bro.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, you beat Anthony Johnson in 2016, bro. You was at the peak of your career.
And the fact that it's different, and like niggas saying that's not that long ago, that's 4 years ago. It's different. Maybe
5.
It's 5 years ago. It's like, it's different if you was 28 at that time. Like, you was like 34, bro.
Thank you.
Like, he wasn't young then. So I'm like, it's like, bruh.
And you see Yoel, he moved like he young, but he, you know, you can still see he old.
He's getting older, man.
You get what I'm saying?
You know, he still got that athleticism. He can move. You can just tell he's older because in wars, man. And DC, you've been in wars, bro.
War, you just been in a 5-round decision.
You ain't just been knocking dudes out. You've been in wars.
You've been knocked out
multiple times. So,
and it's just like you got tired from Stipe. I'm like, he don't even hit as hard as Ngannou. No disrespect. I'm not saying Stipe don't got power.
No, but the thing is, too, that's going to be interesting is, like, you chose not to wrestle against Stipe. So are you going to choose to wrestle against Ngannou? And is your gas tank for wrestling through entire 5 rounds going to be – are you going to have that at heavyweight?
And that's the thing. At heavyweight, light heavyweight, you're in shape. Like, you're in great shape. Like, you had to cut all that 235, 240 you walk around
think about this. Even in light heavyweight, when did DC ever wrestle through the entire 5 rounds? Is DC somewhat of a, you will remember in our six where we boost their wrestling credentials so much, but when they actually fight, they necessarily don't have the cardio to utilize it, even though we look at them as, you know, well, we don't, but DC, we see him as a cardio machine, but he doesn't utilize his wrestling in a matchup the same way like Cain Velasquez does. I'm like, we've seen him dominating his wrestling in 3-round fights. In 5-round fights, we've seen him dirty box for the most of it and kind of sprinkle in his wrestling. 3-round fights, he'll wrestle all through it. I've never seen
Stipe fight was the first one. He never even tried to wrestle though. You know, he always tries here and there.
And which a lot of that may come down to being confidence in the sense where maybe he thinks, okay, I knocked him out in the first round, so I can
do it again.
Yeah, I can do it again. He can't hold my power. And at the same time, I don't think he hits hard. It can be that too. But at the same time, I also saw someone who was trying to get certain wrestling positions at certain stints, and he wasn't able to get there. And he said, rather than me wasting my energy to try and get him to the ground, I was going to go back to dirty boxing because I feel comfortable. But he knew he had to utilize a certain amount of energy to try and get him to the ground. It wasn't just going to be an easy takedown. And that's one thing I seen from DC. One thing I see from DC is bigger dudes, it's hard for them to take down. And I'm like, if there's anything, I'm like, niggas can hype up everything, hype up this. But if you have a somewhat athletic guy, he's a bigger guy, he knows how to move his feet, I don't give a fuck what his credentials is. If there's punching involved, it's going to be a little bit harder to take him down other than, a dude maybe a little bit smaller or same size as you, whatever it may be. You've seen that with John Jones. You've seen that with Stipe. A lot of people will be like, Alexander Gustafsson. They're like, but what about him? Well, Alexander Gustafsson, man. Man, Gustafsson has so much potential, man. At the same time, a lot of people could argue Gustafsson, he beat DC in that fight.
What do you think?
It's hard, man. I watched that fight over and I had questions.
I had questions. Let him speak on it. We here, goddammit.
I think they wanted DC to have a belt at that time.
There you go.
DC, the company, man, they wanted that nigga to have a belt.
There you go.
They wanted DC to be what he is today because they saw everything that he could do.
There you go. They didn't want Gustafsson.
He would have done nothing for that belt if he would have won that.
There you go.
They didn't know what was going on with John. That was the only money fight for John with DC. You know what I'm saying? He was doing multiple things. So much different type of good perspective toward or just like a good aura or whatever you want to call it, man. Because I'm like, think about the time before DC came, the UFC wasn't really utilizing their fighters as announcers. Think about it, that's kind of like a new thing. DC wasn't one of the first people to do that, do it the way he did it, and still be a champion. And they started bringing in more people trying to out other people.
Cruz.
So
Michael Bisping.
Kamal Usman now, Tyron Woodley, Rashad Evans. Now they're bringing in, now that's like their main thing. Like they're doing it just like every other pro sport.
But it's crazy to me, bro, that DC even said that he wants to fight. He said out his mouth 2 years ago, and you can go quote me or quote him, I'm retired after December or March 2019. Ain't that what he said?
He did.
What is it?
He's still fighting. He's waiting.
Isn't it 2020?
It's 2020.
So my point with him is like, you're going to end up like Roy Jones Jr., Bernard Hopkins. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you're going to be taking L's late in your career when you probably shouldn't have. Because I'm like, man, you saw Rosenstruck. If DC fights Rosenstruck, he's not going to just beat him willy-nilly, bro. It's going to be a battle. And you saw what Francis did to that man.
But you can't necessarily count that as...
I'm just saying I'm just saying looking at him as if he's just a bigger Rumble to categorize them as the same type of fighter.
We're talking about power-wise.
But I think that Francis is more powerful than AJ, in my opinion. Now, AJ can come back and show me something different than Bet. But for what I've seen, I ain't seen, just kind of
obviously, because Francis can't cut the light heavyweight. He can't cut the welterweight. So he's obviously the bigger man.
And for DC to think that
but it's the same way DC felt like he can just move up and he can manhandle. Like he wasn't able to take down Stipe. In the first fight, he couldn't do it. In the second fight, he couldn't do it. And it changed. Think about that. Maybe the reason why DC didn't try to wrestle as much because in the first fight, if you watched the times where he tried to wrestle Stipe, he wasn't able to get takedowns. He had trouble, and he was expending a lot of energy to try and make it happen because it's a bigger man. It's not as easy, especially when you're talking about you getting hit with real power. Say sparring, okay? This ain't niggas taking it easy on you. You're getting hit with real power, and you're going to have to take that power. It's going to take fatigue out of you. You being an older man, you having more weight on you. You don't have enough energy for you to try and take this man down and keep him down. Especially if he pops back up, and you still out at DC.
At 41, 42, and you know what's crazier? I'm like Ngannou, bro. He's 262 or something. Stipe 240. So I'm like, you gonna take down 20 more pounds easier?
Or more athletic.
20 more pounds.
Someone who's going to be able to sprawl and throw an uppercut at the same time.
And if you look at the stats, Rosenstruck was 5 for 5, bro.
DC's going to get killed.
You hear what I said, though?
Yeah, I know. Rosenstruck was a beast. That's why I picked him.
5 for 5.
DC's he's never going to live down him. If he fights Nagano's never going to live it down. It's going to be one of the most disgusting knockouts we've ever seen in our life.
Because think about that. Stipe outlasted Ngannou 5 rounds. He got him to the ground.
And I'll tell you this right now. If Stipe fights him again, he won't last 5 rounds.
Against Ngannou?
Yeah, no.
Oh, yeah, he'd probably lose. He caught Ngannou at the right time.
At the right time. Now is the worst time. Because Ngannou's going to be waiting for all that.
And he's impatient. You see how impatient he is? He's impatient. He's like, why I got to keep waiting for a title fight?
Because they know. Because DC's the company man, DC's the man that's there right now. They want DC to kind of be in that. They want it all about DC right now, at least until he leaves. This is where the money's at. I'm like, Ngannou, he's a big force. A lot of people fuck with him, but all the money's not with Ngannou because Ngannou can't do the multiple things DC can do for the company.
Yeah, he's not broadcasting. He's not doing the details. He's not doing the
show with Ariel Helwani now. They got that new little podcast.
DC is likable in the MMA community. He's like I don't know, he's like Doc Rivers or something. He's just like, we need this guy. He's like Doc Rivers for the Clippers. Like, this guy is doing a lot for us. He's coaching, he's general manager, he's making trades, he's getting things done. So I'm like, I see what you're saying.
That's our UFC 249 recap. God damn it. We're going to move on. What's the next topic that we're going to be talking about, man?
It was the next card on tomorrow. Well, I guess it's today now.
All right, you got that pulled up?
Yeah.
All right, what we got? Let's just talk about the main card because I'm pretty sure the prelims is in that shit.
Let's want to talk about your boy MJ.
Michael Johnson on the prelims? Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's talk about who he's fighting. Yeah, who's in prelim? Let's see if if anything stand out to me.
Chase Sherman versus Ike Villanueva. Brian
be an okay fight.
Brian Keller. I think that's how you say it.
Brian Keller.
Yeah, Keller versus Hunter Azure.
That's gonna be that. Brian Keller always brings it. I'm not sure who his opponent is, so that's gonna be a solid fight.
Gabriel Benitez versus Omar Morales.
I'm not sure about either of those, so I'm not sure how it's gonna go. So
Saraha Eubanks versus Sarah Moraes.
Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna watch that.
Michael Johnson versus Thiago Moises.
That has the potential to either be a knockout or some bullshit.
Andre Alaski versus Philippe Lins.
Alaski versus, let me see what the dude looks like. What does he look like? Alaski's a legend. I've never seen Lins before.
Probably gonna win then.
Okay, I've never seen Thiago Moses too, so he's a young gun. So they got young, so they're testing niggas in this fight. God damn, Michael Johnson, 19 and 15.
I know, bro. That's why I say he's been losing a lot. That's not funny, but
Gabriel Benitez with Omar Morales. Okay, that's actually gonna be a good fight. Now I'm seeing their face. All right, this is not a bad card. That's the main card. That's the prelim. That's the prelims. Oh, that's not a bad card. I know if you may not know who it is, you're like, all right, but a lot of those guys, a lot of those people on there, those are a lot of skilled fighters. Other than the Andre Arlovski fight, they're just kind of older, they'll slug it out. But there's a potential for some good fights on that.
They in Jacksonville now. Middleweight Carl Roberson.
Yeah, I like Carl Roberson.
Versus Marvin Vittori.
Vittori?
Yeah, Vittori.
Is he a white dude? Got a tattoo on his chest?
I don't know about that. He got
like
his
on
face.
his shoulder? Did you see his face? White dude, blonde hair?
He formed 14.
Yeah. Okay, that's gonna be a solid fight. Carl Robinson, he don't hold back in Vittori heat though. So that's gonna be a good fight.
Ricky Simon versus Ray Board. Hey, that's Cyborg husband.
That has potential to be a good fight. Ricky Martin likes to stand on his feet. Ray Borg, he's more of a calculated type of guy. So we'll see how those styles match up.
Alexander Hernandez versus Drew Dober.
That's going to be a good fight.
Drew
Dober. He is very technical. He's an upcoming guy coming up. As Hernandez, if y'all remember, he was someone they were thinking was going to be the next big thing, but he got dismantled by Cowboy. So his stock dropped a little bit. So it's going to be battle with the prospects.
And then heavyweight, Ben versus OSP. Damn, OSP went to heavyweight?
He went to heavyweight, man.
That's going to be bad.
Because he already had a bad cardio. Some people said he had a bad tank because of the weight cut. Some people say that weight cut makes it worse than cardio. So we're going to see what happens here. Either OSP's chin is going to be stronger and he's going to have a better cardio tank, or we might see my man flatline. But you know how OSP goes, man. You always in for a weird ass fight that ends up being somewhat good. So I'm
he weighed in at 230.
That nigga was cutting a lot of weight.
No.
God damn.
Well, that nigga Ben is 265.
Oh my God. And you know I'm gonna watch that because I'm an OSP fan. So yeah,
We
we're gonna be going live for
card?
this tomorrow, huh?
I thought we was watching it.
I know, I'm just saying I'm really gonna be, OSP fighting at him. One of my favorite fighters.
Smile.
Smile, that nigga really winning. Like, I don't care what nobody. I wish you would have recorded that.
I know that was great.
Like, that nigga
was
like, losing.
We was just looking. We was like, damn, this nigga weak, man. This nigga about to lose.
He said, he was so
look at me. Look at me. He's like,
that nigga went out there and got a W.
That nigga went just submitted that. He was like,
I'm like, this shit crazy. That was a movie moment. You're like, what the fuck?
I know if you had a movie we made that scene, I'd be proud of it.
That ain't real. Like, I'm telling you.
I
man.
swear that shit happened, nigga.
That shit really happened.
Anthony Smith versus Glover.
Oh, man. That's interesting. I lowball feel like this card starts off strong and it gets weaker as the card goes on.
I know.
Because the people that people know about, those actual fights are pretty weak. Glover versus Anthony, man.
That's going to be weak, man.
It might be weak if Glover can hold his own the way he's been doing against these young guns, against Anthony Smith, or we're going to see a knockout real quick. But I'm going to watch it nonetheless. I think this has potential to be better than the actual UFC 249 cards because we got a lot of guys that people don't know about that's really going to show their shit. It's not going to be really predicated on, drilling, so on and so forth, whatever it may be. But yeah, so we talked about it. We're going to go live for that tomorrow. So obviously, we're not going to keep this too long. It's already pretty late, but we got a little bit more we're going to get into real quick. We have in the title a stimulus update, so we're going to talk about that as well. So what have you heard lately when it comes to Corona, when it comes to stimulus, everything, man? What have we heard?
I ain't heard nothing about no money, but I do know that they pushing that shit back in bigger states when the quarantine went. So that means money has to be coming out because if you're going to have more people have to stay at home and less stuff are going to be able to open up, then that means more people are not going to still be able to work. So money going to have to be coming from somewhere. So, but I haven't really heard nothing in detail, or I haven't saw anything. Well, I didn't really look, but about the stimulus, anything passed or anything, which I'm assuming you have.
So there's nothing for sure as of now. There's one thing I like to dispel. That's why sometimes I wish, man, I wish this channel was bigger than what it was because you get a lot of fluff, you get a lot of lies. But there is certain channels that actually tell you the truth. I don't remember off the top. I think one of mine really shout out. I think it's Clearcut Value Tag, something like that. Yeah, he has a lot of subscribers, but he's a straight up motherfucker. He just tells you what it is. But obviously, there's been a new proposal from the Democratic Party. A lot of people are talking about this is going to be a proposal that most likely pass. It has a lot of bipartisan to it. Bipartisan just basically means that it's basically has some things that both sides, Democratic and Republican, can agree on. So they think there's a lot of movement that's going to come from this. It was put out there today. It was expected to not come out until Friday and people to vote on it not until next week. But they went ahead and put it out today. Put a vote on it next week. Basically, what it's saying, anybody who's trying to wait for any money, more money to get put put into their pocket. Obviously, it had another stimulus check coming around. This actually goes back to what we were talking about. In the last video, you were saying you were believing there might possibly, if there's going to be another one, it's going to be one-time payment. They're saying it's going to be one-time payment. It's going to be a $1,200, another one. That's what it's saying in this proposal. They added more money to if you have children. If you have children, or whether, no matter how old they are, as long as their claim is dependent, you'll get another $1,200 from it. So if you have children, a bigger family, you get the same. If you doing your own thing, it's just you just get that same $1,200 check. This is what the proposal said. Remember, this is a proposal, right? But this is the first actual proposal that has been put out there to be voted on. So that's why this is kind of picking up a lot of steam, because they're saying, well, if this is put out there, whether or not it's said no to or not, whatever may be approved is going to be somewhere along the lines of what this proposal has in mind. And at the same time, it's coming from the Democratic side. It's not coming from the Republican side. So obviously, the Republicans are going to have some say, even though some are saying they already did have say. That's which is why it seems like there's bipartisan in it, where Republicans kind of help Democrats. A lot of bullshit, right? Who knows, right? There's a lot of he say, she say. Let's just know it's a Democratic proposal. It's not been voted on, and this is what it's saying as of now. It's over 1,000 pages, I want to say. Is what they're saying. So,
somebody typed 1,000 pages.
So, yeah. So, you know there's a lot of bullshit in between. It's
Who's going to read 1,000 pages?
It's over $3 trillion. It's bigger than the last stimulus package. So,
$3 trillion. Who is going to read 1,000 pages?
When I see the reports, when I see the comments, you have people from other countries, United Kingdom, the Netherlands. They're saying, wow, where's this money coming from? They're like, man, China did this to you. I feel so bad for you. Because they're like, wow, you're spending so much money. You're increasing such a big debt. You're putting yourself in such a position where U.S. isn't with it. But anyways, so that's what it's looking like. There's going to be another payment. This is in the proposal. Who knows if this is going to be actually what it's going to end up standing to be? Who knows if it's going to be voted in? Let's also talk a little bit more about when it comes to the rent side of the game. Also in the same proposal is a rent and mortgage cancellation. So there will be no evictions for a year is what they're saying. There's going to be no mortgage. Basically with the bank to take your house, late fees, anything like that for a year. To me, that doesn't make so much sense to me, because what does that mean? Are you still adding up all of the months I'm not paying my rent, and when this expires, I have to pay you all that money? Or are you literally saying I don't have to pay rent for a year, and then once this year is up, then I have to start paying whatever my rent is? That's a big thing to me, and that has not been clarified to me. No matter what YouTuber or whatever shit I hear or look up, that hasn't been clarified. So maybe I need to open up the documents myself and read it word for word to see if that's clarified. But I'm like, nigga, fuck not paying my rent. If you telling me, yeah, I'm not gonna evict you, but once this shit is over, you won't have to pay me all that back pay. What?
That means I'm gonna be in a hole.
That's
like me I might as well just take out a loan.
You making it?
I might as well just take out a loan, pay rent,
which for this time being, they're also putting this. They're gonna put lower interest rates on taking out loans.
That's dumb though, because eventually when it's low, it's gonna go back up higher.
And if you're still paying it off, as soon as this shit is over and the interest rates go back to being regular and have this loan, so it's like it seems like it's all set up. And then also unemployment. If you're on the unemployment, they said they're going to go ahead and extend the $600 a week from July 31st and extend all the way to January of 2021.
Damn.
So this is what they're saying. It doesn't make much sense.
So that's all in this new bill.
It's all in this new bill. It doesn't make much sense to the extent of,
you know what doesn't make much sense, bro? Who is still going to read 1,000 pages?
To me, it doesn't make much sense. They're not, you're not necessarily knowing what's going to happen to essential workers. That means people who are still working during this pandemic. There is money put in it for them. They haven't been explained yet how that money is going to be used for them, but you can't keep paying people not working and not giving money to the people who have to work at this time. So they're going to have to do something about that too in the bill. Obviously, the biggest thing for the Republicans want it, and why, in my opinion, you see certain YouTubers and things like that talking about, hey, it's a good bill. It seems like it has the best bipartisan. It's going to pass, but you have nothing about the payroll tax cut in it. That's something that Donald Trump's been raving about, what he's wanting it. And there's nothing about the liability when it comes to these small businesses and the big businesses where they are getting sued if somebody contracts coronavirus. So that's why I think this probably won't pass. What's going to end up happening, I think there's going to be a variation to this bill where things like that is going to end up being added. And you're going to see some different You're gonna see something very similar to this bill, in my opinion, but there's gonna be some things added into it that's gonna protect small businesses. You're gonna see a payroll tax cut. Payroll tax cut is gonna help people who are working right now and people who are also unemployed and employers. Um, but I do believe in if anybody is waiting on that extra stimulus payment, that is going to come and it's going to be a one-time payment. I think for the most part, when it comes to stimulus payment, is the reason why you're not seeing the same type of thing like you're seeing in Canada is because of most people. Well, let's say the Republicans are saying we want to get the economy started back up. We want people to get back to working. So we're only going to I won't say reward, but give people money who were working and something happened or their hours were cut, whatever it may be. So they still have an incentive to work. You feel me? Because even though you may be getting that money for unemployment, it's like, look, the only way you're gonna get this, you got to prove that you've been working. That's why I was saying in the last one, like make sure you don't forget to send in some type of proof that you've been working because that's one of the stipulations in finding out if you're gonna get approved. Because they're just not letting anybody get it. So I'm like, you got to be working or have some type of job when or doing something when this shit happens. So I'm like, that's what I think because most people who stop working, they're gonna want to get back to work. They're gonna, most people because they're used to a certain routine.
Everybody I know really wants to go back to the gym.
My motherfucker, my bro, my body. This nigga was doing that, but this nigga hit me right. He said, "I miss you, man." I said, bro, I'm trying to get back to work, man. I'm like, hey, you heard anything, man? He said, no, I haven't heard anything, but Friday, I should find out some news.
Good cap.
I'm like, man, I know you just said something because I haven't heard anything. That means, in other words, you ain't heard anything. You hoping by Friday.
Oh my God, he was big capping on the track. Bro, I was watching a story about reading a story about Monte Ellis. He said they asked him like, how did it feel about getting traded from the Warriors to the Bucks? He said it was heart crushing. Like he explained, he was like, I talked to him in the hotel. And, where we was going, and I kind of was seeing how good we was becoming and da-da-da-da. People forget he played with Steph. So it's like he could have got a ring. He could have been a part of that dynasty. He said he talked to him on the phone. I mean, he was in the hotel room. He said before he left, they told him that he wasn't going to be traded. He said as soon as he got to the arena, they told him that he was traded. So I'm just like, some people would just tell you some shit in the moment. You feel me? Just to get you out of there, or just whatever the conversation.
Well, that's business.
Yeah.
That's literally the game of business. I'm gonna keep conflict from happening right in front of my face. But when I'm out of here, you're gonna find out the real shit. But I'm never have to deal with you again. That's business. It's all part of the game, man. People be confusing business and supposed to be thinking that it's connected with relationships. It's not. Because people be like, you gotta have a relationship in order to enter a certain type of business. So they assume relationship means trustworthy, looking out for you. Nah, that's not what it means. It's when you're talking about business relationship, all it has to do with is money. Always remember that. If you have a business relationship, if you met someone through business, it makes something that do with money, working, whatever it may be, remember it all has to do with money. If money ain't involved, ain't nothing else to it. So you should never be offended by anything that happens when it comes to that type of situation. Because that's what it is. And if you are offended by it, that means you've never been taught. You don't know. That's why I always laugh when I see these niggas making millions of dollars, and then it's no disrespect, but them niggas being like, oh, I can't believe they traded me, or da-da-da-da. I'm like, man, shut up. You got niggas out here just trying to fight for motherfucking a raise, nigga, just so they can pay their light bill. And you over here talking about, I'm about to cry because a nigga traded me. These fans don't do it. Man, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, man.
I never got that shit neither. I just think like, damn, you about to go from one big house to another?
So like, it show you how there'd be so much different spectrums of the world and how it literally means what you going through is that's whatever it may be. That may be your worst or your most beautiful, fantastic dream, whatever it may be. Like that's to you is the worst thing happening to you or the best thing happening to you. But another nigga may look at it and be like, man, that shit ain't nothing. Or another nigga may look at you and be like, nigga, I got more than you. Like, nigga, you think you got something? Like a nigga just like say one nigga, man, he can roll up to a restaurant, man, nigga, whatever the fuck he want. Like, man, it's the first time I ever do that. I love this. And nigga be like, man, think you at Outback Steakhouse. Nigga, that ain't shit. But then like, man, I can never do this. You feel me? But that's everything then. Well, nigga be like, nah, nigga, I'm at whatever it may be. You know what I'm saying? What's Chris, nigga? Or an extra shit. Like, nigga, that's real shit, nigga. But nigga, at Outback, like, I don't know what that's like. This I can never do this. So it's like, happiness ain't necessarily how people judge it, where it's like, nigga, you gotta have a Gucci. Because most niggas be like, let's be real, how many regular niggas be like, I'm about to really wear some Gucci? Like, that's all for sure, just to say I got it. You know what I'm saying? How much, like, that shit be bullshit.
But you know what would be crazy to me? You'll have the person that buys some Gucci or Louis Vuitton, whatever, be like, man, this shit was basic as fuck. This shit cost me $4,000. I don't look at that shit like, that shit on your body? 4,000? I'm like, that look like a shirt from no disrespect. I'm pretty sure it was good material, but I'm like, it don't look nothing that. And I'm like, yo, like that shit hard body. You know what I'm saying? Like, you feel what I'm saying though? Like $4,000.
Though it's Rolly. I be seeing niggas with Rolly all the time. I be like, man, niggas spending money on that. I'm like, never see that shit again.
Don't even tell Tom.
Never get that shit back. I'm like, man, y'all niggas is crazy just to look. So it'd be crazy.
Bro,
man.
You know how much a Gucci shirt costs that just has Gucci on the front?
Yes, nigga. At the very, you ain't gonna find that in less than one rack, nigga.
I'm just like, yo, my nigga, that shit don't even look hard. Like, no disrespect. Like, bro, I'm not trying to come at them.
I remember way back. Remember I told you that one time I did security like for like 3 days straight. I didn't sleep. Bro, I was doing it for high-end stores. I remember seeing the bags and shit. People were lining up shit. I'm like, man, these bags and shit look cheap, but shit was like 2K, 4K, 5K. I'm like, this shit look terrible.
I'm telling you, bro, I'll be like, man, they must be gassing these prices and just saying people believe anything you say. Because I'm like, yo, bro. I mean, one time I went to the Gucci store. I saw a backpack. Yeah, bro, I saw a backpack, right? And I was like, damn, I low-key want to get this. And then I snapped into my head. I started like kind of looking inside out of it. I'm like, this shit is nice, but I can get a just as good as quality backpack at Foot Locker, bro. For half the like $80. Now I be thinking $80 is a lot.
Probably do more.
Yeah, it lasts longer.
But that's why I be like, that's why I be realizing, that's why I be like, man, nigga, like I'ma be that. I'm gonna always be that nigga. I'm gonna be finding the deals, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna live, nigga, in maybe some rough spots, nigga, keep shit low. But I'm like, check me, you gonna think something. I'm like, nah, nigga, like my money's not funny, nigga. Not even close. That's the type of nigga I am. Some niggas gotta be big bougie and be in certain spots so they can show the looks. Like, I don't got, like, nigga, you can see me thinking like, why you here? You must not say, no, I'm good. I'm 100. I'm big chillin'. But this is what I prefer. Because I'm like, I just feel like niggas, that's how I feel like I always be. I might change. We'll see.
It just depends. If you get like, you get that, you touching that real cash, bro, I'm not saying you're going to go to a secluded like Hidden Hills or some shit like that. But you know what I'm saying? You're going to go to a nice little house. You feel me?
Nah, the only time I'm going to do that is when I'm really ready to like probably start funding shit like that. That's the only time I'm going to do that. Like where I really want to like be on some shit like that.
Well, I'm not even saying buy one. I'm saying like just move to a nicer, I can
do that now.
I know that, but I'm just saying.
Like, I'm like, I do that because I choose not to right now. It's like, this is the shit I fuck with. This is where I want to be at right now. On God, on my mama, on my dead grandma. I gotta be here. I know. Hey, so it's like, this is what I want right now. But I'm like, if I feel like I want to start a family, focus on some real shit, then I'll be like, all right, I gotta think about that. Like, I can't just be thinking about myself. Because I'm like myself, I'm good with this shit. I'm like, to me, it's the best way to live, man. Let niggas think you not something when you know what it really is. That's what I've always been on. But I'm like, when you start thinking about other people coming into that, then you gotta, well, what's the best fit? It can't always be about you. You know what I'm Say you might feel safe, but might not. Everybody, other people might not feel safe in this area. You know what I'm saying?
I already know people think this area is forbidden. I'd be like, man, that shit regular.
So it's like you gotta be respectful of that. So it's like I know that. So I'm like right now, I'm like this is the shit. I fuck. Man. I'm like all that extra shit, that booty shit. I'm like that shit for the birds. I'm like unless you're doing something you love, that shit's all for love. I want that to rest. Unless you're doing something you love, if they not doing something for love, all that shit for love. That's how I feel about it. But I'm gonna get into this. I ain't trying to get super serious on you. COVID-19 cases spiked by 1,000% in a week in Tennessee and Kansas counties as infections rise across U.S. Unreleased White House report reveals despite Trump claiming they're down. Tennessee and Kansas are home to counties where coronavirus infections have spiked by 1,000% in a week, an unreleased White House COVID-19 task force report shows. The report indicates that cases are increasing in pockets of the U.S. despite President Donald Trump's claim that infections are coming down rapidly across the country. The data in the report, which has not been released publicly but was obtained by NBC News, was included in a May 7 COVID-19 task force report compiled by its data and analytics team. Included in the report enlisted countries that have seen infection spikes in a week compared to the previous 7 days. A rise in cases in these small emerging hotspots comes as infections across the U.S. surpassed 1.3 million, with more than 81,000. Coronavirus will keep spreading up until up to 70% of the population is infected, and the second wave could be even worse, disease experts claims.
So that's how they call certain people experts.
How about they call anybody expert?
I'm just like, what does expert mean, bro? What are the credentials for you to be certified as an expert? So I'm like, I feel like I should be an expert in basketball. What's the credentials? 20 years, 25 years?
I think the credentials just say something, put it online, and a nigga run with it.
So I'm like, man, experts, man. Get a nigga run with it.
But how do you feel about?
I'm just like, how does Trump say that Obama swine flu didn't do more than 81,000 deaths in this little bit of amount of time?
Well, since you said that, I wouldn't.
So I'm like, swine flu did like 60K. I'm not saying that's little, but I thought it was like 60, 70K. They surpassed the swine flu.
I wasn't talking about it, but Biden admits he knew the FBI wanted to investigate Mike Flynn over Russia, but claims he knew nothing about his prosecution as Trump wraps up Obamagate theory.
So Biden is sticking with Obama, okay.
Of course, this is guy.
Hey, you know, people switch up quick,
man. Imagine this though. How do you feel about this 1,000% so-called report increase in Kansas and Tennessee? Do you think this is real? Do you think they're making these numbers up?
I think everything's a little fabricated at this point, man. So 1,000, maybe 500. Still high, but probably half of that. So I'm like, but it doesn't surprise me in this state at least, because I'm like, I've seen people. They don't give a fuck. So I'm like, that doesn't surprise me too much, but I still don't see how like it's spreading like that. And it, you know, like, because I still haven't really gotten like, people keep saying it's airborne, but nobody can determine how long it lasts. Some people say it lasts on this for 12 hours. Some people say it lasts up to
they say it gets in your eyes too, man.
But that's what I'm saying. They say don't touch your face. They say wear their face. But it's just like all the precautions you're trying to tell me to do.
In your eyes, why you been telling somebody this face mask to cover this? I'm telling you, it's gonna turn to the purge. Remember the purge? They got the mask and all that shit. It's gonna turn it from here, and then niggas gonna be wearing the whole face mask. It's gonna be killing me.
That's not funny. That's the case, man. I'm gonna have to go find them. I'm gonna find that one of them dudes from the birds that be saving niggas. Is it? I need to roll with that motherfucker. Like, hey, man, I know you on a soul mission tonight to kill whoever killed your daughter, but save me.
Yeah, you're killing niggas.
Nah, man. Oh, I do want to ask you this. It's crazy. You predicted it, even though I thought maybe Even though I think I ended up agreeing, I can't remember, but I remember you saying it. What did you think about 6ix9ine, man?
Oh, the fact that he's great and he's greater than he ever been. And the fact that I told you that this nigga's gonna be
great. Did I just say that?
The motherfucking world that we live in today. And it's not about people trying to make this out being a snitch, woo woo woo. Shut the fuck up. I hate these rappers who are trying to make that shit, being a snitch. Now, nigga, shut up. The rap world is fake. None of y'all niggas, shut up. All this shit is about is following the trend, goddammit. That's all it's about. And people relating, people feeling like, 6ix9ine is he was an outcast before he went to jail. When he went to jail, he was even more of an outcast. Think about what hip hop is. Hip hop has grown exponentially because you have a lot of people outside of what you want to call the culture being able to relate to the culture, even though they can never do it other than listen to songs. They can never be around niggas but feel like they're around niggas by listening to this shit. So you have a million people who see what he went through and be like, God damn it, that could have been me, or I could be in that same position. I'm just as real as all these other niggas or so-called niggas in hip hop. I love Tekashi 6ix9ine. I relate to him so much because I know if Tekashi 6ix9ine could do it, I could do it. Fuck the rest. I'm black. God save the world. Allah. That's all it is, man. It's all mind control. It's all psychological warfare. That's all this shit is. Bunch of young niggas wanting to live a life that they don't live, or wanting to be something that they ain't. Feel like Tekashi can do it. I can do it. So he has even bigger fan base. Best way to make money now is to go against the grain. Niggas say the worst thing to be is a snitch. You be a snitch and you have more people fucking. Why? Because there's more people in this world that's willing to so and so forth be a snitch, even though there's no such thing as that. Like niggas who say don't be a snitch, they didn't just say niggas snitch. There's more people in the world who be like, if I was in that position, I'd do what Tekashi did. That's what they're saying. And that's why they ride with it. Because they're like, you one of the first motherfuckers to do that, do it openly, not give a fuck, and to show the bullshit that's in the hip hop world. Like, these niggas ain't gonna punish you for this. There ain't no repercussions. All this shit is false. You do whatever the fuck you want to do. It's about making money. It's a business.
So, how you feel about it? That's like,
I was telling anybody who was uneducated and didn't know nothing. I was just telling them what it is.
But how you feel about it, though? You think?
I'm not surprised.
I was just wondering, because I was seeing other people's reaction. He was talking about it.
Niggas probably mad. Like, what? I can't believe it. I'm like, nigga, how are you surprised?
I don't know why they surprised, man. I knew as soon as that Rico case came, I knew he wasn't going to go to jail for them niggas, bro. I knew it. I'm like, bro, what? Treyway is no longer Treyway, niggas.
It's not about that. It's the fact that people didn't think he would be able to recover from the fact that he was snitching, because people would want to say, oh, hey, hip-hop's so gangster, no snitch nigga can come back and be successful. Nigga, hip-hop controlled by consumers willing to pay money. Niggas paying money in hip-hop is white people. They ain't blacks. It ain't niggas in the hood. It's white folks. They're the ones having all these streaming apps and paying all this money and shit to listen to them. So that's what's they motherfucking is a fan base. For some reason, niggas control the rumor talk and that shit and make it seem like niggas don't control this shit. It's controlled by white people. That's why I know the niggas who be talking that big shit in hip hop, they controlled by white people too, because I'm like, it's an agenda. I'm like, you keeping people to think like that because you know that keeps them at a smaller scale. They don't realize the bigger picture. You want motherfuckers to believe in all that shit. Oh, we can have this controlled media. Like, no, nigga. It don't matter what, black owned, whatever it may be. It's not gonna be as big as iHeartRadio. It's not gonna happen. Having a head start on shit matters. That shit be hurt people. No, we can rally back. No. Go to Africa.
Don't go there.
Because we in a country that's controlled by white people. You're gonna have to accept that. That's how it's gonna be.
That hurts people.
Yeah. That's the state you choose to live in. Like, niggas ain't gonna go over to China and be like, nigga, why all these Chinese rulers playing? You know what I'm saying? Niggas ain't gonna be going over to like, nigga,
Russia, like, why are these motherfuckers all blue-eyed blind?
Why they doing it the way they want to do it? Like, nah, nigga, we gotta overcome this place. Like, nigga, like, why are you surprised, nigga? If you don't like,
I think it's just funny.
African.
Well, it's not funny, but it's like when even people be talking about the ADOS shit and reparations and shit. I just like think about this shit. But I'm just like, but think about this here. I'm like,
niggas out here is struggling
Hold
from
on,
a
but think about
pandemic
this.
not placed on them, and we can't get no money.
but think
You
about
think we
this.
gonna give money for
Think
slavery?
about this though. But think about hold on. But think about this though. How can you expect money from a country you never owned?
Nigga, how you gonna expect money from a country that you didn't even go through the shit when you was getting fucked up? Like you trying to get reparations for what your grandmother did.
Yeah,
Like you don't even know what the real struggle is. You over here talking about, man, this shit, this trauma got me fucked up. Like, nigga, you ain't been through shit.
I know.
Shut the fuck up.
Only people that got any types of, I say you 60 plus or maybe
Bet.
55
Get your
plus.
reparations.
Like,
But
alright.
if you ain't, shut the fuck up.
I mean, nigga my age, young Pharaoh, get your reparations.
Shut up.
Well, I don't even know if he's for that.
I
But,
hear kind of niggas, man. You getting money on you. Shut up.
but no, you get my point though. I'm just like people will want to say we need ADOS, but it's just like, bro, white people rule this world. Like, well, at least this part. I'm like, bro, they made a whole law called Jim Crow that made it illegal for black people to do and be certain places. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, they only lifted it because of the economic crises black people were making with the bus boycott and so on and so forth. You get what I'm saying? Like, it was a years and years of battle before they said, okay, we'll lift it up. But we'll just, we'll implement something different. You know, it's like in the ring. You have a game plan, and you just realize, oh, okay, I'm out there just my game plan to win.
You can't win, goddammit. You can't just shit. Nigga.
No, I'm talking about the white man.
Go with the motherfucking flow because these are the rules that are given to you. You can't change that up. No matter how much you protest, I'm not even gonna get it. I'm like, you don't understand. We live in an established society that is evolving every day, and it's not evolving in your favor. This shit has a basis already. They are just building upon that basis. The only way you can get the shit that a lot of these people are trying to preach to you can get is you have to break down that foundation and basis. They're not going to do that. That's not going to happen. And until you understand that, it's always going to be what it is. I'm sorry. Sounds terrible. God bless you.
Excuse me.
God bless all of you. We're going to leave y'all with that. We're going to be back tomorrow with a live stream. God damn it. We're going to go live for those fights. But we gave y'all some work. Slate. You know what I'm saying? Happy quarantine. Until tomorrow, y'all.